Yes, we know you've been waiting, and here we are walking into the locker room on a feel-good Friday morning here on the Smooth Breakfast. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. You know we love sports as well, and that's what we do every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 8:15. We take a look at the great sporting news. We break it all down, get analysis, and of course, banter is spread around like wildfire. My name is Ayokunmi. Great to have you for the final time on the show for this week. And trust me, it's going to be action packed as always because I am not in the locker room alone. No, never, ever, ever, because the one and only Tega Supreme is here with me. Tega, good morning to you.
It's Friday. You know the rest of that song. Good morning, everybody. Hope you had a fantastic week. I did. So, we're going to be talking about everything that happened in the world of sports this week. And then we are going to be launching in, yes, breaking in. It's EPL, the beginning of the league season.
We're back,
Thank
baby.
you,
We're
Lord.
back.
We are back to 11 a.m. wake up, so that you are just in time for the first match on Saturday. All right. So the leagues are starting this weekend. Sorry, let me be precise. The Premier League is starting this weekend. You need it because I started with the Dutch. Let me tell you how starved I was of football. I started with the Dutch league last season. I was watching every match, every match. I'm not talking just watching Ajax. No, every match. But this weekend we're back with the
You're
Premier
strong,
League,
go.
and it's
Every match.
ah every match. That's how starved I was. But we start with Liverpool trying to defend their title today against Bournemouth. So we'll talk about that. We'll also talk about what's happening in Nigeria. The Tigresses have collected their own $100K. Well, have been told that they will get $100K,
Mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
and the Tigers want to see if they can also get. They started on a good note. We'll talk about their first match. We'll talk about their first game. We'll talk about the second game coming up. We'll also talk about the $100,000. Why people in a hurry? What are the processes? Because some news broke out, and again, I want to blame Nigerian footballers. Media training is necessary. I think I'm going to organize that, especially for my women in sports. We'll touch on that discussion. We'll also talk about what's happening in Cincinnati, in tennis, and then we'll wrap it up with football from across Europe. So, like Ayokunmi said, hot package,
Mm,
fresh from the oven.
I'm
But
telling you.
before we do any talking, Ayokunmi, tell them how can they benefit from these hot cross buns that we're about to deliver.
Before you can taste the tasty meat pie and all the everything, let me give you the WhatsApp number 0911 999 0911 999 That is the WhatsApp number. You should also join us on YouTube. Front row seat is what you need. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. Smooth 981 FM Lagos. And those are the ways you can be a part of the locker room and enjoy all the tasty treats we have in store for you today, starting with basketball and the Tigers, as Tega mentioned. Um, the Nigerian Basketball Federation President Engineer Dr. Amadu Musa Kida has issued a rallying call to the Tigers to remain focused and humble as they prepare for their second game at the ongoing 2025 FIBA Men's Afro Basket Championship in Angola.
Yes, so the first game they completely destroyed Madagascar. They started off slowly. Not to say that they came on court and they just caught fire. They started off a little bit slowly, but by the time the wind caught, they caught the wind in their sails, they were off like a flash. But that was not always going to be the tough game. I think it's because of the way basketball has been in the country, especially since the division of who is president and who is not president. In fact, there's even talks that they are about to break their own what's it called? Every league or every federation has its own rules. And three term is one of the first things that they discuss that nobody should ever have. In fact, a third term is what started the crisis in the Nigerian Basketball Federation. But now some people are, the walls are talking and there are rumors in the
Mm.
corridors that Musa Kida may be going for a third term, which will bring another trouble because there's a fever rule about this third term issue. Um, and so, because of all that turmoil in leadership, basketball in Nigeria has really suffered. But the tigers and the tigresses, as you can tell, a lot of them also ply their trade outside Nigeria, which makes it
Yeah.
easy for you to find players in form, and get them together to get these results. Now, for the men, this was not going, like I said, this was not going to be their toughest game at all. They face Tunisia next. Now, Tunisia has a good league. They are not the best in the world, but they have a good league. So this is going to be
Mm.
a sterner. This is going to be a sterner test than their first game. Ideally, the Nigerian team should come out tops. But this is the Nigerian team that has struggled over the past couple of Afro basketball championships. In fact, like I said, it's the women that have been dominant in their own part when it comes to
Yeah.
Afro basketball. So let's see how it works for them. Like I said, they're going to see if they could try and win this, especially off the back of the women winning their own fifth consecutive title. So let's see if they can do this. But we're going to be behind them all through to push them, to support them, and hope we get a good result against Tunisia.
Mm. Yes, indeed. I mean, after the Chan Eagles fluff their chances, the men in basketball will be looking to see if they can also get their hands on the pot, you know. I'm talking about the pot. That's what we're heading to right now. Where Super Falcons captain Rashidat Ajibade has revealed that the team is yet to receive the promised $100,000 reward, along with other commitments made by the federal government following their victory at the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations in Morocco.
So this is so sad. I'm going to give you a backstory now. This is so sad because of the way it has come in. Now, because of the you know how it is when you're a winner, everybody wants to talk to you, and sometimes the athletes feel that this is their opportunity to put themselves in the news and all of that. It's not a bad idea, but especially when you're talking to a journalist that is not sports oriented, they don't understand the politics behind the scenes. So she sat down with a popular journalist who just talks to a lot of successful people about their careers and stories that are going on. And he asked her the question, have you got to receive the $100,000 yet? And so she was like, no, we haven't. And we hope that we get the $100,000. So the way they said this thing, they wrote it they are writing it now as if she was complaining, but she wasn't complaining. She was just answering a question honestly, which is where Nigerian sports people need media training, because the media is there to get their content, they are there to sell their story. So when you answer, you now become further and victim of this kind of thing. She wasn't complaining. She was just responding a little too directly to a direct question. All right? They've promised
Right.
them the $100,000. It doesn't mean the money is going to come out the next day, because it's the presidency that is giving them this money. It's not the president. It's two different things. The presidency is the system. The president is the individual. And so if it is the presidency, there are steps and processes before money will come into your hand.
True.
It's not
True.
just going to come into your hand because they said they're going to give it to you. So there's going to be approvals from different departments, and then eventually the $100,000 gets to the federation, who will now disburse. Okay, so it's not like the presidency is not giving them the money, and I understand why there is a shock going on around this, because remember the last time a presidency promised this kind of promised a set of Nigerian footballers all this house in this, house in that. It took about 25 years to even collect.
Ridiculous
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it took about 25 years for them to even get something. And so once she just said, no, we haven't gotten it, everybody's catching fire and running with it like, hey, another 25 years old before. That's not what's happening. There's a process to get things. If you were the president that promised directly, that's easier. So he's coming from his pocket and he's just making transfers. But because it's the presidency, there's a process. All right. So it's not going to happen immediately. Not for the Super Falcons, certainly not for the Tigresses. So let's not jump at that. But the second thing I'd like to say, it is important for a media personnel to have training. The thing she just said is, oh, they've promised us, but it's under process. Even when we get our monies from FIFA, it takes a process to get it. It's not immediately. Okay. So I think that's the best way to answer it. But because she answered the question directly, and she even contextualized it that we're still hoping that it will come in and all of that. Nobody wants to hear that one. Everybody just ran with a catchy headline, and
True.
they forget that they're putting her under pressure. It's just sad, which is why I tell people, when sports journalists stand in front of them, they they carry their shoulders. When they see all these entertainment bloggers and entertainment journalists come to them, they are quick to talk, but they do not recognize that the people that understand your politics are the sports journalists. It's not all these bloggers. These bloggers just want their content. And so
Mm.
now everywhere you turn, you see they have not yet paid us our money. As if she was complaining. She wasn't complaining. She was just answering a question directly, which is, shameful and sad, but here we are.
Yeah, we are. I guess it is what it is. And thank you for clearing that one up for us, Tega. All right, let's head into the world of tennis. We're heading to Cincinnati, where world number two, Coco Gauff beat Lucia Bronzetti 6-2, 6-4 to book her place in the quarterfinals of the Cincinnati Open. Looks like the no serve is still serving her.
Oh, the no serve is still a problem. She's still struggling with that. Like I said, it cannot be fixed during the season. It's the kind of thing that you work on off season. During the season, you will try, because you don't want to tweak it technically too much in the middle of the season, because she's still, what did I say? She's still live. But it's something that work on off season, but they'll find ways to survive it in season. But it didn't really affect her play against Bronzetti. She won in straight sets. What also helps her is her court coverage and her return game whenever she's playing. So you know that she's very athletic. She's quick. Um, her anticipation is great. So as an athlete, everything else has covered up for that. The thing about it though is that the people that could stop her are still on tour. The Sabalenkas, the Swiatek's.
Yeah,
Jessica Pegula was knocked out. Jessica Pegula was knocked out early, so that's one on that side. And I think that's one of the biggest losses. Madison Keys was knocked out by Elena Rybakina, but it's the kind of battle you expect one of them to be knocked out of. So yes, she's Australian Open champion. Yes, she's a top 10 player, but she met Rybakina, who, if not for her struggles off court, would ideally be a top ranked player or a higher ranked player. So no shocks there with Madison Keys dropping off, um, Jessica Pegula dropping off. But the people that can do real damage to Coco Gauff are still on tour. So even if it is a good result, the question is when she gets closer to the trophy, will this her no serve be an issue?
Hmm.
That's the
So
that's the question.
so in essence, she needs to sort that one out because, like you said, those who can really, really hit her hard using that no serve,
Those we
they are
can do
still
damage.
busy right now.
They're still busy, and there is I mean, the only person that has qualified for the officially that has qualified for the final eight is Sabalenka, because she has accumulated so many points. I think she's 5,000 points ahead of Coco Gauff, who is in world number two.
Oh wow.
Oh yes. So she has qualified. Everybody else they're the ones looking to defend points, to make more points, and all of that. So and because there is that struggle, she's not entirely safe. She needs to win as many matches as possible.
She needs to win as many matches as possible. And please, Coco, work on that, sir. Pico, we're begging you. All right, let's take our first break of the morning. When we come back in, we'll be talking about what went down in the UEFA Super Cup. PSG beating Tottenham on penalties out there. All that and so much more on the other side of the locker room. Don't go anywhere.
Don't mind these people. They want to put Rashidat Ajibade under pressure. They don't know that everything sounds like indictment to government people.
Yep.
You now
I
come
mean,
out and
and
say we have not received the money, and you splash it across social media platforms. We have not
they'll
received the money.
just
We have not received money.
they'll
They'll
just
just
they'll
look
just
at her.
They just sensationalize the whole thing.
Yes. See, I don't have a problem. See, yeah, I think when people sit down with Chud, Abichude, whatever however his name is pronounced, um, when people sit down with him, the entire idea is that he's about to drop a banger. And most people sit down with him because yes, they want to be part of that banger he's about to drop. But somehow you can come out in the poor light, which is what has happened now. Do you know how many phone calls that girl would have received between yesterday when that story dropped and today?
You
And
know,
she'll still be receiving all of today. Why did
I
you
should be,
say that?
I should
What
be
do you mean?
wondering, what did I exactly say? I didn't really know which I
Exactly.
thought.
Exactly. Should not be wondering what did I answer that I'm here now and under this pressure. But my dear, which is why I always say they need media training. And when sports people stand in front of them, if sports people understand the intricacies, you can say something anyhow, um, and be put in a different light. Which is why when we interview them, the well-meaning ones, so there are still some sports people that like to do I broke the news first, or they have their own agenda. So I understand avoiding those people, but these people just rush. You're talking to Chude. He wants to. He drops blockbusters.
He wants to make a splash.
Do you understand? They have not paid us yet. Is it now becomes and you now cover it with the context of the 94 Eagles that didn't get their stuff till 25 years later, and Choma Ajunwa who had to push to even get her own stuff at all. It now becomes a sensational story. You don't do that. That girl would have gotten so many calls, and right now her team will be looking for how to you know do PR on this thing. It's very
Mm.
unfair. Added to the fact that that she has not yet signed a new contract. They're saying she'll move to PSG soon, but she has not yet signed the contract. People just put the girl under pressure in your bid to get your content. So
Well,
sad.
I don't know. I don't know. That's why
It's
sometimes if
pathetic.
some people decide they don't want to talk to the media, it's be as if they're being too
Yeah,
hockey and
but
everything.
even
That's why.
she's not making smart decisions, which is why I say they also need media training. You can't avoid the media because you need the media to be in the news. You just won a major trophy. You should be all over the media. Your faces should be in the media for at least for the next 1 month, especially with a contract being about to be signed. But that's where the media training comes in. And then they just think that yes, it was a direct question. And yes, you want to be as honest as possible, but there's some questions you don't answer. You answer with the context first before you answer. Do you understand?
Yeah, very
So you
important.
start with, you don't say, oh no, they haven't paid us yet. You say, oh, the money is in processing, and then you start to tell stories about how you got your FIFA money, but it still took
Bam.
about a month. But it still took about a month because it had to come from FIFA to the country, from the country to the federation, from the federation to you. Do you understand? You break it down that
Yeah,
that,
I
that
get.
kind of
I get.
takes time. That's what you should have said for this.
All right. Let's jump
You
back in.
start with the context. Let's jump back in.
Welcome back into the locker room. It's a Friday morning. Smooth 98.1. Love music, love life. It is 34 minutes past 8 a.m. It's a feel good Friday once again. I'm so glad to be here with you. My name is Ayokunmi. And of course, the one and only Tega Supreme is here with me as well. Yes, we are doing the business, people, taking a look at the sporting news. You get to share your thoughts with us as well. You know, the EPL is back, so I'm pretty sure you have a thought or two or three to share. So please do join us on WhatsApp on 0911 999 0981 YouTube. Join us at Smooth 981 FM Lagos, Smooth 981 FM Lagos, and leave your comments there, and we'll take them as we get along. All right, as we said before that breather, we're going to talk about the UEFA Super Cup, where European champions PSG Paris Saint-Germain began the new season by lifting more silverware on Wednesday as they beat Tottenham Hotspur for 4-3 on penalties in the UEFA Super Cup after producing a late comeback to draw the match 2-2.
There's two sides to every coin. On the one hand, you say, oh, PSG brought in a late comeback. On the other hand, you just say Tottenham bottled their match,
As per the
which is
usual.
as, as usual, which is the story here because it 5 minutes to the end of regulation time, Tottenham were leading by 2 goals to nil. I kid you not, they lost that match from the 86th minute of. Can you imagine? You can see the finish line. Can you imagine? You're running 100-meter dash. You are clearly head and shoulders in front of ahead of everybody,
Mm.
and just 10 no 5 meters to the end of the race, you kick your leg against the other leg and fall. And because it is 100 meters, you can end up plumb last
Oh,
from
yes.
being out from being outright first. That's what Tottenham did. Literally 5 minutes to the end of the match. They didn't need to do anything. Now, the first thing I must say is there was improvement from Tottenham Hotspur defensively. That's the first thing I can say, because the Tottenham that played in the Super Cup were the same Tottenham Hotspur that played all of last season in the Premier League, where they just barely finished above relegation. So Thomas, you can see Thomas Frank's impact of with how they defended. But in just those few minutes of, and you can say it was brilliant, but that cross from Dembele should never have happened, because they started overloading the right. And all you needed to do as a team that was defending and that was in the midfield was to compensate for that. So they overloaded, like they had 3 or 4 players that, and the ball fell to Ousmane Dembele before he crossed it. So it wasn't a question of um, that PSG were exceptionally brilliant. Even if at
Right.
the end of the day, when you win, everybody says you had the brilliant one. But is that over the last 10 to 15 minutes of the match, they were the ones with the ball. They were the ones mounting the pressure. But they really overloaded one part of the pitch. Tottenham Hotspur, I think, should have compensated for that, but they didn't. They conceded the first goal in the 86th minute, and that one, I don't know that there's much that they could have done, because the carry was blocked off with his players defending in the 18-yard box. So when that shot came in, it was too quick. He couldn't see through the legs. I understand that. But that cross from Ousmane Dembele, they were clearly overloaded on one hand, and they considered that goal. And then it gets to the penalty shootout, which is a lottery anyway, and they lost on
Yeah.
that. But I will still say, again, they lost on that. Several players missed the penalty kicks, but it was a black player that was singled out for racist abuse. And these are the things that
Mm.
this is the
That sounds
ugly
very
part of
familiar.
football. Yes, very familiar. It's the ugly part of football you don't like to see. And so, of course, the club has brought out a statement trying to protect Matisse Tell, who was the recipient of the racist abuse. But I think more people just need to be arrested. Don't bring out any say we stand against racism. We are disgusted by racism.
Standing isn't working.
No, that's long talk. Just say we have arrested several people. These are the people that we've arrested. We've arrested these people for their racist remark. Those are the statements we want to be releasing now. Don't stand against again in statements. Just release people's names that are going to go to jail for 6 months. Can you imagine being an accountant and not doing anything bad, but your first time in jail is because you were being silly on the internet? Lessons will be learned.
Definitely lessons will be learnt. No doubt about that one.
All right.
Ugly
So,
scenes
but
that we don't love to
ugly
see at
scenes,
all.
yeah. But Thomas Frank, ultimately he tried. He was trying to get, and it would have been great for the Spurs if they were able to get, at least a trophy at the start of his, not that friendly one that they did in Asia.
A real trophy.
Real trophy at the start of his campaign at Spurs. You can imagine how they would have entered the season. But yes, Tottenham does. They do look like a better. They look like a better team right now under him. So let's see how it works out for them in the Premier League season.
Let's see how it works out for the Premier League this season. And talking about Premier League, Liverpool manager Arne Slot continued to reinforce his squad on the eve of their Premier League season opener, confirming on Thursday that the club had agreed a deal to sign 18-year-old defender Giovanni Leone from Parma.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're even going younger. But there's also talks about Konate maybe moving away. I have to remember that Liverpool had already sold Kwanzaa, which was so shocking to me, considering the fact that they needed to bolster defensively. Meanwhile, they became lighter defensively. They've sold Kwanzaa, Trent Alexander-Arnold went with, with all the drama and all the noise and all the spotlight. Um, and now there's talks about Ibrahim Konate not renewing his contract. So they're like, if he doesn't renew his contract, they're going to sell him. That's the way Liverpool are now, that they don't want to be caught unawares again. And so there's that drama. And even with the Community Shield, it was obvious that they needed to bolster defensively. Like I
Mm.
said, Virgil van Dijk is a step late. And now you have Konate not on lockdown. You are definitely going to be exposed. So yes, getting a defender just before the start of the season. In fact, getting another defender would be very ideal for the Liverpool situation, so that you know that they're not going to be waiting on you to make up your minds. If you want to leave, leave, but you're not going to leave them short-staffed. That's
Yeah.
important. Yeah, if they're going to defend their title, they're going to have to do better defensively. They were exposed against Crystal Palace, um, shockingly, with the penalty that was given away. First of all, that penalty was just a lazy foot in the wrong place from an experienced defender who wasn't he top three in Ballon d'Or 1 year like that? Virgil van Dijk.
Yes, was it 2020 or 2021?
Yeah, he was top
Can't
three.
remember.
So for an experienced defender like that to put that kind of lazy challenge in and give away a penalty was kind of tricky, but they're bolstering well for the start of the season. But today, the test of their title defense starts. The good news, it starts against Bournemouth. Bournemouth can be a problem side team. They can be one of those banana skin
Mm.
teams. But on paper, shouldn't Liverpool be taking this one over Bournemouth? Let's see how it goes. The thing is that the Premier League has started and anything can literally happen in football. And so we
That is
wait to
true.
see how, yeah,
That
how
is
it
true.
starts. What I want to see how, the team, I've already gotten a little sneak peek of how the team would be from the Community Shield. Ekitike scoring his first goal, Firan Vit doing great with his ball. But that Frimpong as fullback, I'm still not convinced. However, let's see how it plays out over 38 games. Let's
Yes,
see.
indeed. I will add though that Bournemouth have had their defense decimated,
Oh yes.
this
Oh, I
offseason.
forgot to.
So
I,
there's
I
that.
forgot to talk about how people just came to the Bournemouth shop and was picking up players.
Like a yard sale.
I'm telling you. So it's so sad being one of the smaller clubs, because if you perform very well the season before, rest assured that your players are leaving.
Most
Bournemouth and
definitely.
Brentford were two of the teams that suffered.
Hmm. All right, let's quickly talk about what's going on in Newcastle, where their manager Eddie Howe has admitted the Cold War with one-way striker Alexander Isak is far from ideal, as his side prepare to start the Premier League season without their prolific goal scorer. Isak has said, "I no do again, no."
He's carrying placard.
Mm.
He's not playing. He has carried his placard. He has chained himself to the bench. He's like, I am not playing for you. This is a full on protest. Now, Newcastle have said, of course, they're going to fine him because he's not starting the season with them. If he's not playing, he's not definitely not playing their first match. He's not training, and so they're going to fine him, and they can do that because he still has a contract. When all
Yeah.
is said and done, your feelings are of no consequence if you have a contract that you signed yourself with your two hands, your two legs, and your two eyes. So, in full capacity of your brain, you have a contract, your feelings are of no consequence. But that's where they are now. And it's such a sad thing to see, because Isak would not have come to you as one of those troublesome players. But here we are. He really wanted to move away. Newcastle frustrated that move. Liverpool brought 120 million for Isak. And they said no. That's a lot of
Mm.
money, even in this
Yes, it
market.
is.
So he's feeling like Newcastle has stopped. They're trying to stop his progress, and he's feeling slighted and he's lashing out. Unfortunately, he may come back to haunt him, because if he doesn't play, he can't get traded to at least a good club. He doesn't get the chance of going to a good club. Um, so it's a tough place, and if he eventually gets stuck in Newcastle, it means he has to play, which means that the fans will not be behind him. He may not
Yes.
even be enjoying his football. So it's not a good. Ideally, I think Newcastle should have just cut off with the losses, taken that good money, and let him
Mm.
go. But here we are
Exactly.
at this standoff.
When it became obvious that he didn't want to play for them anymore, they should just have let him go
Yeah.
and cash in.
The minute the
Really
man
and
put
truly.
in his transfer request, Just cash in. 120 million is a lot of money in this market.
All right, let me take your messages here. I'll start with Tayo Inaja. He says, I hope the process doesn't take 25 years because Arsenal and Man United have been on the same process and are trusting it.
Tayo, drop
Tottenham,
your phone down. Tayo, drop your phone.
Tottenham can change manager, add players, but the motto never changes. Bottles and Co. Limited. What's French for remontada? Oh, that's I should have checked that. Anyways, EPL is back. Please hand over the remote control and watch Ayo and Co. fall into various mood swings. I'll be here for all of you. You'll be here for yourself, Tayo. It's not for me that you'll be here. Yeah. Emeka says the Premier League is back. We are back to inconsistent and questionable officiating. Let season start first now, Emeka. And let it start first now. I know some of the PGMOL has fixed up their acts this coming season. We can't be watching a game and all we'll be talking about is why Michael Oliver gave a red card for tactical foul instead of talking about the game itself. Stan says, I feel Tottenham might surprise people this season with trophies because I see how good they are becoming with the new coach. But PSG are becoming visible. Oh. Well, it could be a blip. Who knows? There's no name attached. It says, I just want to know what Arsenal's aim is this season. Is to win everything. Nah, come on. Win everything. Win the league, Champions League. Are you playing? He then says, Tega, the earlier we accept that racism is here to stay, the better for us. Let Africans focus on succeeding than getting accepted. Well, it goes beyond
But it goes
Africans.
beyond
Yeah.
Africans because these are not even Africans you're talking about ultimately. They're just black people from other places. And before you start thinking, not all black people came from Africa. Calm down.
AY Oniru says, easy win for Liverpool. Bournemouth stand no chance. I stand with Alexander Isak. Better go to Newcastle in that case. So whenever it's clubs trying to push players out there, Donnarumma, it's strictly football business. But when it's the other way around and the player wants to leave, we'll now start hearing stories that touch. Okay. Let me head into YouTube real quick. LK Adoraba says, beating PSG in a final isn't for everyone. Tottenham started like Chelsea, but ended like Arsenal. Very Spursy. Arsenal got streets, sure.
Hey, Chelsea people, why did they win that Club World Cup? Because we'll not hear one now.
Uchenna says, football is back. Yay. United Beak will start well. I need an emphatic win against Arsenal. My club are United, PSG, Barcelona, and Leverkusen because of Eric Ten Hag. Uchenna, who are you exactly? Who are you?
Exactly. Who are you? Take a stand. Which one is all these four clubs you are picking? And for Ayokunmi, you remember you told us that your league last season was over. That is this season you're facing.
Yeah. Starting afresh.
This is we are starting afresh with you on Sunday.
I'll be wearing my
Manchester
jersey to
United
studio
versus
regularly.
Arsenal.
Don't worry. Padre says PSG were lucky they should have lost the match. Rubbish and PSG, well, they won at the end of the day, so there's that. Anyways, we need to wrap it up this morning.
On that note,
all right.
Yeah, on that note, I want to thank you for sending me your messages via WhatsApp. Thank you for streaming on YouTube, and thank you for tuning in to Smooth 98.1 FM. Remember, the Premier League season has started. Pray that your team is not fodder for banter. Have a great weekend.
Amen. So that have a great weekend. Check out. Looking forward to all the action, and thank you all for being a part of the locker room this morning on the Smooth Breakfast. My name is Ayokunmi. Keep tuned. The Smooth Breakfast will definitely kick on. It's a feel-good Friday. Let's go out there and enjoy.